My name is Michael Wringley. I am the Chief Operating Officer for Label Source Incorporated.
My name is Amairany Vinalay. I work at Label Source in Norcross, and I'm in the screen printing department.
In our Norcross facility, which is our headquarters for Label Source, we manufacture primarily screen printed decals in the industrial market. So we've got several Sakurai automatic presses. We have 5 lines of M&R clamshell presses. So back in 2020, Bruce, who's our rep with SAATI, had been calling on us about switching our systems over to the LTS and to an automatic coater. We were coating all of our screens just using a trough system. Through some persuasion, Bruce talked us into purchasing a ProCoat 2536, and we started coating our screens with that system and found it to just make an enormous difference in the quality of our screens and with our pinholes. The way we would typically expose our screens was the traditional method. We had a film system. We were using a film processor, and then to make our film positives. Then we went to a digital printing machine to make our film. And our film filing system, as we grew, when we started picking up OEMs that had hundreds or thousands of SKUs, our film library grew extensively. So we had films filed in drawers, we had films just stuck in large baskets, and we had films everywhere. We put them in tubes, we had them all numbered, and we had them organized, and that helped with the process, but it was still cumbersome and time consuming. So Bruce introduced us to the LTS system. At the time, we just weren't sure about spending that much money on the screen department. What we were doing was working, but he told us that you guys are gonna be surprised at the upgrading quality, you're not going to have so much downtime with touching up screens and prepping screens. So we finally bought into it, and I think it was probably one of the better investments Label Source has made since we started the company. Okay, so when we received the machine, as I said, it was crated. I think the most time-consuming part of getting the machine installed was getting it uncrated. Once we got it uncrated and rolled it right into the room, I think we were up and running, making a screen within 2 hours. We actually started with the LTS 8012. Which is a little bit smaller machine. And then we realized that we really needed the larger machine, so we went to the LTS 1015, and we moved the LTS 8012 into the Bogart facility that we recently acquired. And right out of the gate, we loved it. The system was fantastic, it was fast, the quality of the screens were even higher than they were when we were using the film positives, and certainly higher than they were when we were using the digital printing machines. The operators, when I'm walking on the floor, would come up to me and tell me, this is amazing. We don't have to touch our screens up. The quality of the angles and the corners is so much better than they were before. So it's just increased our productivity on the printing side considerably. It's also obviously increased it dramatically in the press room itself.
So I started working with the LTS system. It's been pretty easy, less prepping. Everybody tells me that it's way faster for them to set up and run good quality work. So that's something that we all like about it. So my process is just, I get the artwork, I drop it into the server, I open it up and I set it up depending on which press it goes into. It's literally only takes me like 30 seconds to set it up, put the screen in the frame, and there we go. 3 minutes max to burn a screen. SAATI's tech support has been good. Every single time we need them, they're there to help us with any problems we have. And we haven't had any issues that are major. When I come in the morning, I just check what I have to burn for the day. I do my process, which is adding my job jacket into the system, and then I download every color and I burn the screen. Yeah, I do recommend you the LTS 1015. It's fast, efficient, it helps everybody, it's faster production, so I do recommend it.
Yes, so since we switched to laser, our screen rejection rate is close to 0. We have very few screens that come out that we have to go back and redo. And as I mentioned before, the quality of the screens is such that there's almost no touch-up involved in them, which has been an enormous time savings for us in our production department. The quality of the actual dots and the quality of the corners and the edges of the LTS have just made such a big difference in the quality of our print. So we've compared a lot of parts to the way we used to do it with the films, and the customer has really been surprised at the increase in quality with screen print. So even with the LTS and the amazing speed and quality we're getting out of it, we're able to double up a lot of images on our larger screens. So that has cut our production time dramatically as well. So we can just take the screen, we can load it in. If it's multicolored, we can spin it, and we're back up and running very, very quickly with almost no downtime. So that's been another big benefit of this machine. Label Source converted all of our products over to SAATI that we use in the screen department and the exposure department back when we got the coater and started that route. So we use the SAATI High R Mesh, the Graphic HUDLE, the ProCoat 2536 coater. We also bought a custom larger coater, the SAATI Duralife Squeegee rubber. In the chemical front, in the remover, we use the PW2 press wash remover IR11, the ER2 emulsion remover, and then the Direct Prep 3 mesh prep. And with the SAATI, the number one thing for me is getting rid of films and not having to deal with films and not having to research films, not having to tape films down to screens, the whole exposure process with the vacuum pumps and having a vacuum pump go out, the inventory library of films. So having all that go away has just been a tremendous asset. I'll tell you, I think the machine probably pays for itself in a year. One of the better investments that we've made here. From the printing standpoint, not having to use blockout anymore. I'd walk out on the floor and printers would have their screens up. They'd be underneath them with a little paintbrush touching up different areas where they had pinholes. So that has also been another enormous benefit. So I'll tell you, the machine just increases your productivity. It lowers your overall cost dramatically, and has just really been it's been a great addition to our assets at Label Source. And I can tell you, we did a lot of research and a lot of due diligence, and we're so happy we landed on SAATI. It has just been a great experience. The machinery is fantastic. We've had no issues in the 2+ years we've had them. The customer support has been tremendous, and it's helped our organization tremendously.